my lovelies. Welcome back to Animeinkart Live Talks. I'm your host, Lizzie. I hope you guys been having a good weekend so far. Today's Sunday. We have another show for you guys. So, for those that don't know what Animeinkart Live Talks is about, it's our show where we talk with different Blerd creators in the community about their journey in content creation and how we can support each other better in the community. So, today we have very special guest, Messiah from the BlerdSpot, and it's a place where blurs and people of color can come together to for a community to talk about anime, gaming, comics, and the like, and film as well. So they're also a writer. They're also they're also they're also event curator. They're also a producer as well, and they have their own show called the BlerdSpot Interview. So definitely, let's get them on here and let's get it started. Let's have a great time. Hey,
Hey, what's up? What's up?
I'm good. How are you? How are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Taking things day at a time. Getting ready for the holidays and whatnot.
Yeah, I could imagine how stressful that is right now.
Definitely. Just the holidays to deal with, and then just like planning for the new year, things like that. But things all come together, so it's stressful, but also fulfilling as well.
Yeah, that's very true. And again, I just want to thank you so much for coming on the show. I really do appreciate it.
100%. I definitely reached out. I was like, I'm definitely interested in coming on your show. You had a lot of great people on your show. Your show's definitely dope as heck. So I was like, you know what? I was honored. This is my first time doing something like live. So I'm like, okay. So
No worries, no pressure. It's kind of the same, but it's just in real time. There's no like edits and stuff like that.
I got you. I got you.
So for those that may not know who you are, introduce yourself and what you do.
No problem. So my name is Messiah from the BlerdSpot, creator of the BlerdSpot. Essentially, it's a community where focus on Black people, people of color, to talk about their nerdy obsessions from anime, comic, cosplay, video games, film, music, you name it. I do have my own show, the BlerdSpot Interviews, where I interview different people within the community and to talk about like themselves, what they do. The people I have interviewed on my show was Sailor Victoria from Looney's Club, Jarrell John, game designer. He worked on probably like the hits that the game that you like. He definitely has some worked on it in the background. So what else? Venta creates awesome, amazing cosplayer. Manny Knight, creative cultivator for Totomocon. Um, who else? A few other people that as well that coming soon. But as of so far, those are dope people that I oh, and the Shoe Fits Collective as well. Those are my interview shows, events. I know it's me kind of long events that I do um, music showcases. I did in collaboration with We Nerd. We did a private screening for Demon Slayer back in September with
Mhm.
a panel discussion as well. I'm also a basically event host for Anime and Wine in New York City. So I do that here as well. Um, and also do film showcases. So, create a platform for people in the film industry, showcase their films and that work with each other from actors, actresses, directors, producers, and things like that. So, yeah, so I'm pretty much a jack of all trades, pretty much.
And I mean, everybody that knows you in the community, like we just appreciate what you do for the community, and I just wanted to tell you that before we even started anything.
Thank you so much. It's definitely a lot of hard work. So, just to have someone like, I see that the work that you do and it's pretty dope, honestly just goes a long way, because it's definitely hella stressful, but a lot of things could go wrong, like it's like behind the scene events or venues and things like that. But you just gotta learn experience, So as always, so thank you for that.
No, yeah, and definitely. I just wanted to start off because when I was looking at like your different channels and stuff like that, you always were supportive of the community, whether you were talking about like different games or different creators or different like comics and anime. And you also had like the Kickstarter, like, you used to support different Kickstarters on your page. And then it transitioned to, I saw that you had like a 1 year plan to really start building like the BlerdSpot as like your baby like that you're doing.
Yeah.
So what was that push that made you start? And I saw that you were doing the interviews and the show and everything. So just to start, like what inspired you to really take the Blur Spot seriously and create it as a place for the community to gather?
Awesome question. Honestly, this idea I had was actually probably right after college. I would say so 2016, 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Always been into, like, anime and stuff since I was like five. So like I always grew up on that stuff. But as I, got older, so I realized that in these spaces, especially when I get more, I was more so of an outsider looking in when it comes to just watching anime from home. But
Mm-hmm.
then when I got older, wanted to engage in conventions and have more of an online presence, I started to see how, like, I'm pretty aware of like society and stuff like that, but just see how we're not much appreciated in those spaces.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, we love anime and we love these things as well. So it was like just because of color of skin, they want to look at us differently, and
Mm-hmm.
especially in the anime things like that. So when it comes to like the blur spot, it was just something I'm like, there's so many dope black people and people of color in various industries in this industry doing amazing things, and it's like I don't feel like we're not pulling them on like a bigger like platform. So with the blur spot, I want it to be like a twofold thing, where we do like have community for just us regular people just hanging out and enjoying ourselves in a safe space. Also, within that, I have a platform for people that cosplayers and comic creators, and that's put in the work, but maybe feel like they have not or not being lifted up as much or showcased as much. So I wanted to just with the blur spot, I want to become a place for that. So essentially, I believe it or not, I'm a bit of a I would say antisocial introvert. So it's kind of like actually took me a lot of time to get out my head actually, because again, Adelia has a idea back in 2016, 2017. Made a few
Mm-hmm.
posts when like then of course so I got older, the pandemic happened, and
Mm-hmm.
different life events, and so I realized that like, hey, I'm only getting older. So it's kind of like if I don't do this now, then I may never do this, and then I'm gonna have so much regrets. So I
Yeah.
guess the the feeling of not doing or trying what I wanted to do against my anxiety was a bit greater. So I kind of took that leap to take this a bit more seriously.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I resonate so much with that, to be honest, because it's like I tell people as well, it's like contrary to popular belief, I still have my introverted moments. I would say I try to be as extroverted as I can on my social battery, but then after a while I'm like, I need some time to myself. So I really had to push to like even do the interviews too and just, put myself out there. So I relate to that heavy, and sometimes you just really have to be like, if I don't try it, I'm gonna regret it. So
Yeah, so it's just like you just have to find a way just to like push yourself. And I still think self care is important. Definitely taking those breaks when needed, but at the same time, having a balance of not being in your head too much, and realizing, hey, I still need to get some stuff done. So just trying to find a balance always key. It's not always easy,
mhm.
but it's just something that you just kind of just learn as you go.
Yeah, that's very true. And also, I wanted to say like what you're doing over at like Brick Media and everything, and being able to make the content that you do for your interviews is amazing. So I wanted to ask, how did you find out about Brick Media to have that space in order to record, what we now know to be the Blur Spot interview?
That's another great question. It's kind of funny because I actually started off like doing like well, the blur spot. I kind of took a break because I want to try new things.
Hmm.
So I actually had like a side project what I did, and I ended up doing a podcast.
Hmm.
But it was kind of hard to like get people to the podcast.
Hmm.
So it's kind of funny because I was literally scrolling through Facebook and Brick popped up as an ad.
Hmm.
So it was so I literally clicked on the ad. I was like, wait, it was in Brooklyn. Okay, let me check it out. And it's funny because his log line was something like, we're Emmy nominated public access station. It's like, Emmys, like that's something because I realized when you try people for interviews, like kind of
Hmm.
like you find a way to hook them sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like with Break, it's pretty much established. So it's kind of like, hey, like I went to my podcast. At least back then, it was kind of at least hard for me to like get guests. But as I realized one with Brick, I'm just like, and they have the space, so I could be able to go there in person, and like they have the equipment as well, so I don't have to pay for anything outside of my pocket. And so they also Emmy nominated, and they have public access, so they do show your stuff on TV. So of course each
Mm,
state, but for New York, for Brooklyn, you submit it to them, and they show it in Brooklyn, but they also show it worldwide through their network. So for
mm,
that, now it's like, oh, so not only we get interviews, showcase my work, speak about what I do, but also opportunity to be like, on social media and on like TV. So it's
yeah.
like kind of hooks people, So um, yeah, so literally how I found the break was literally do a Facebook ad. It's kind of funny. I tell people all the time, like, yeah, Facebook ad. That I guess Zuckerberg was listening in, and it's I don't know.
I mean, I love that. No, sometimes it's like you never know. Like you just be scrolling, and you're like, I should give this a shot, and then that just really jump starts everything that you're trying to do. I just feel like that's just it just goes to show how life works. Sometimes you just let it.
It really does. It's funny because like it's due break. I also met another dope, amazing people. Another thing that helped me push the go out there was when I was taking a course, because through break I had to take a course before you use like the equipment and stuff.
Hmm.
But it's very low price, cheap, affordable. I've actually met a lot of members of my production team. One of them being Ron. He
Mm,
does production even outside of Brick, but I helped him with his show first, Talking Riches. And through him, he's very encouraging, like, hey, man, like, showing me the ropes and like production and things like that. But also, like, hey, like, you could do it. You have a dope idea. Um, you know, you have a good vision. So just go for it and being very encouraging. So I tell him all the time, like, yo, man, like, thank you again for like also helping me to like get the courage to really put myself out there as well.
yeah, that's a beautiful thing, and I actually saw like one of your first interviews when you were like recording everything was with Gigi Murakami. How did you
Yeah.
feel to have that interview? How did that start? Because I know that like now you partner with people from like Annie Tomo, like she's been to the events with Annie Tomo and everything. How did you guys like interact with each other, and then were you able to do the interview, and how did that kind of, I guess you can say, motivated you going forward?
You know what? It actually was definitely motivating because like I was like, okay, now I'm gonna do it. Who I'm gonna reach out to, So it was just I was just scrolling through like through Facebook, not Facebook, Instagram, people that I follow. And I was
Hmm.
like, I feel like pretty dope. So Gigi definitely came to mind. So I was like, you know what? Let me send her a message. Send her a DM. Um, and she's like, yeah, I'm down. I was like, bro. you know? So I was completely like, like a shocker. So she was down, so she came through because I did had a panel session before to talk about anime, and then after was an interview with Gigi. So
Hmm.
she came, she took show her like a tour of Brick and everything, the studio and the space, and then we sat down, had an interview, and honestly, I'm still kind of surprised that I got that interview with her, but I'm very honored. So like wherever I can, I'm just like every time I talk about what I do, I'll talk about people I interview. I'm like, hey, Gigi Murakami, she's awesome. Check out her work. So I'm just like, I'm looking back. I'm still like, this is. I mean, honestly, like I knew she always been putting in the work. She's been again, she's amazing, talented as well. So I'm actually really glad that she's. I think she's last time I seen she's in Japan. So I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure she got like, a lot of dope things coming.
yeah.
But it's just that like for me to get her while she was here and just to have her appear my first person I interviewed on my show. Um, I honestly couldn't be more honored, and I was giving me courage. Like sometimes I think to just DM people. I'll just reach out. Sometimes you never know. The worst they can say is no.
Yeah,
So or so honestly, I learned like, hey, reach out to people. They say
yeah,
no, it's fine. Don't take it personal. Don't know what anyone's going through. Could be, you just don't know. So it's like always another time. There's always someone else. So it's kind of like if you're, whoever's watching, you're in this space, or just reaching out to people, whatever. Just reach out. You never know. So that's a little advice I would give. But yeah,
no, yeah, definitely. Because I actually, hopefully, I'm able to, but like, I love how like involved she's in the community because even for me, I reached out during BlerdCon and she really wanted to do it. I was supposed to do it in person, but then like I couldn't find her and everything. So it's like, so
Yeah,
like I'm
especially
just
at
happy.
conventions, things get
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah. It was like a live broadcast, but it was like
Mm,
because like she's very busy and like there's
yeah,
times she leaves, so I didn't really get to her at the time slot. But I said, "Don't worry, don't it's no rush. Like whatever you want, it's fine." So like I just love how like involved she is with us, and like, I really appreciate it.
she is. She takes out her time to help us, just to speak to us and showcase her work and things like that from conventions, panels, interviews. So she's definitely a dope individual. So honestly, I'd say give it. This will be a matter of time. You definitely get that
Yeah,
interview one day.
yeah,
Just want to
it's
see.
no rush. It's no
Yeah,
rush.
exactly, exactly.
And also, how did it feel when you found out that the show that you were working on, the interviews that you were doing, it got accepted to be streamed on one of the networks, like the Brooklyn Free Speech HD lineup? How did you feel to get that opportunity for it to be streamed not only there, you know?
No, it was honestly it was dope. I actually took a picture of it and I just like show my mom like I'm on TV. So it was kind of like that, just stuff like that. It's like like it's like kind of sounds it kind of feeds you in a bit because like it's kind of like you're being like a little validation. But I mean I think that's kind of the point of the blur spot is to give this platform to amazing dope black creators in these industries. So to be like I'm on TV, they're on TV, on my platform, it's just like this is dope. This is amazing. This is kind of what part of what I envisioned. So just to have that happen, it's just like okay, I need to keep on the grind, keep this up.
Yeah, that's true. And I would say, how has, being part of the program with Brick, how has it helped, like, get the connection that you need to do, like, your events and stuff like that? Because I know, as you said, it's very difficult, but, having resources as well helps with how difficult it is to plan at times. So,
Yeah, I feel like it definitely is, but I do feel like it kind of helps in the sense where I pitch myself to different venues. Like for at first Harvard Lawn King Theater. I use a theater out in Brooklyn. It's through the city, but I moved to I have the indie film showcases. I'm allowed to use their theater. It's like a full auditorium projector theater, fit like 110 people. So I do indie film showcases there, and it kind of helped. I was like, I'm producer to Brick, so like okay, it comes kind of like validation.
hmm
I think for DreamCon, I would say I had an idea for We Listen Don't Judge Anime edition.
hmm hmm
So I was able to I did like a test run on at Break and I'll submit some of the footage to DreamCon for 2020 for 2025 for this year that passed for yeah.
yeah,
So and I sent them the footage. I pitched the idea and that was my first time at a convention at DreamCon. I got accepted and I had like 200 people in the room. I honestly never thought I would be able to do that. I thought maybe I felt lucky if I got like 20 people, but like the seat was just like packed. People standing couldn't get seats. I feel like it kind of helped me a sense like pitch myself to people and just continue to build my resume and they get experience as well. So it's just more so just
oh, you just froze a little bit. I was just trying to get back. Let's see.
that I use I incorporate into it. So yeah.
It's amazing. And also, I just definitely wanted to talk about we listen and we don't judge because like the different editions that you have. I wanted to ask like what was the inspiration for it because I saw like you said you had the first one that you did at Brick, but then it's evolved. You had it at DreamCon, and then you had the Listen We Don't Judge. With Clutch Boy Wonder and Shamazan, and
Yeah.
then you had another one on August 22nd, and now you're having a third one, but it's a gaming edition. So, kind of wanted you to talk about like how it started and like kind of like the evolution, like how did it go from like that one event to like the panel. Now you have like these multiple events.
It was what I did it was searching online and people like, oh, listen, don't judge. And so I can like, listen, don't judge. I'm like, that's something I heard before, but I still said that resonates with black community because like we get what that means. We listen, don't judge, but it's like we're gonna judge you. So it's like depending on what you say. So it's kind of like even though like of course my panels like it's broad, but like it more speaks to us because we know what that means. So I kind of put that more in an anime sense.
Yeah.
Um, I pitched this to a few people, to friends, and back in January, and we did it at Brick.
Mm,
But like just like hey, I saw the potential that it has. I submitted to DreamCon. DreamCon, it was kind of more like it was overwhelming. Like I didn't expect too many people, so like
yeah.
we like ongoing it had like 2 or 3 mics, and we had like
Mm,
so it's very like interactive. So it was
yeah.
like then we did it again at OS. That was with again with Clutch Boy Wonder, Shamazan, and it was just like again like I get to see how we have other things planned for that time. Like it was like maybe 4 hours, but like
Yeah.
once we started, we pretty much were just on that for like a good 3 hours. Like people really very vocal opinion about what they had to say, and it was just like, hey, this is something that kind of just it just works by itself. Like once you people engage, it just takes its own. It's like a beautiful thing because it's like you can always just like because once you get that mic, you got the spotlight.
Yeah.
When you feel like like anything you have wanted to say, especially people agree with you or they disagree with you, depending on how you are, you're argumentative or you're like that's your point, that's your time to really just like, hey, I'm gonna say it all. I'll get something off my chest. So that's kind of like the beauty of it. So not only that, after that, I got accepted to Anime NYC as well.
Yeah.
At this point, it's how it evolved in the sense that like how I wanted to how does this be done in a convention sense and how does this
Mhm.
be done like in a smaller space like OS. Like OS can still fit like a good amount of people, but of course not as much as like DreamCon or Anime NYC. So how it looks like if people active and engaged and also a controlled environment, how it looks like at a convention will differ. Especially since it's funny because Anime NYC we only had like one mic to pass around to the
Mm,
audience
mhm,
versus Dream had these 3 or 4.
mm,
So very interesting. So just kind of understand just the conventional sense how things should go. I think I kind of have more a perfected version when it comes to conventions.
mhm.
Uh, but why just start at anime? Because we're multifaceted people. So why just stop
Yeah.
at anime? So, um, which is why again, we actually have an event with Clutch Boy and Sachi on January 3rd called "We Listen Don't Judge Video Game Edition" because that's something that come to video games we really also are very opinion about, strong
Mhm.
opinions about. So I feel like this would be a space where we just let it all go.
Yeah.
So like Animal Cross is not a real game. Why or why not? I think it is. If you think you think Final Fantasy Tactics is the best Final Fantasy game of all time, I do. So it's you think single player games are obsolete. I don't. You think Expedition 33 is the best JRPG of all time? Hell no. But if you want to argue it, I mean, go ahead. So it's like, so it's just like this is the point. Even if you don't like video games or not really
Mhm.
into it, but you just like to enjoy the vibes and have
Yeah.
people just spill their hearts out, you should still like come through and just engage. That's the beauty of it. You could be your opinion, you want to talk, you could. You just want to just enjoy the vibes and just see the action. That's also true as well. So um, I'm just able to just wrap it all up. The
Mhm.
have how it evolved as a concept and what it has now. I'm trying to get it to is just make it more perfect versions for when it's in a closed environment, more
Mhm.
control environment, small like OS. versus like a bigger event conventions. And of course, with different tools that they may have, just create in a sense that it could adapt to any environment. So that's the goal where I'm aiming towards. Where it has so far, I think I'm getting close to it,
Yeah.
but it gets better every time. Always accept feedback. Always after you have a QR code. So how it's like now because I got feedback from people from my panels. They scan the
Yeah.
QR code. They like, I think you should do this better. I like this. I
Hmm.
do take constructive criticism because I do want to get back from people. So I'm like, okay, so I need to work on this. I need to work on that. Of course, like I couldn't do it because the venue wouldn't let me or things like that. So it's kind of like keep those things in mind while I just continue to perfect it.
No, yeah, that's definitely true. And I actually, shout out to Manny Knight. We actually had him on the show, so it feels like a full circle moment as well because he mentioned you as well. And then fast forward like a few weeks later, you guys had your event that I wanted to talk about, which was a night at the Magnum Museum. It was in partnership
Yes.
with the Lit City Book Club, and I wanted to ask, how did that come together? Because I feel like it's an amalgamation of like everything that you've already been sharing, like art and comics and
Yeah.
manga and how you want to be a writer, and then it just all came together. So how did you come across this like opportunity, and how was the event?
The event was amazing. Honestly, yeah, you mentioned it was a accumulation of everything, but I would have to say the catalyst was from Lit City Book Club. Tyler, he was actually someone that went to one of my gaming events back in the day. Like it's like one of the first like blurred events he'd been to. So like, wow, like we need more stuff like this. So of course, he ended up joining a book club as well, but we kept in touch. And he was like, "Hey, we saw talk about the things I'm doing, and he saw things I'm doing. He's like, hey, like, um, we talk about. He like, hey, I have this idea. I was like, hey, okay. He
Hmm.
pitched me. We talked about the 90 Mega Museum, him and his team, and we was like, okay, like I know comic artists. I could get some promotion done from Anime NYC. Reach out to them. He was like, oh yeah, hey. So we both, both the Blur Spot and Felicity Book Club came together. He worked on the flyers. I Canva. I didn't know we could make flyers like that on Canva.
Yeah, you can.
Was that I'm like he taught me a few things. It's like all right, so we really I was able to reach out to the different comic artists, comic creators in New York City and all over. He reached out to some as well, and I reached out to MNYC. I mentioned that panel with them. They was very open to sharing it on their page, which really helped. Like I think we kind of like doubled our attendance. We used to do other promotional during that time, but just a short amount of time after Anime NYC posted it, we kind of almost like pretty close to like double our attendance. So it was yeah, so it was honestly a phenomenal. Like people, the creators, like yeah, this is very much needed. They was very thankful to like talk about their work. It's like a cozy, environment. People were drinking wine. Um, the creators who would speak to people that someone was vending there. They would speak to their guests about their stories and things like that, and make new connections with individuals. Because conventions is kind of like it's really big and busy, so you're always trying to make that sale. Never have enough time to like
Yeah.
really talk about your stuff. So there's
Hmm.
able to do that at the event, and not only that, have a panel discussion, talk about their experience. Some people who just wanted to know more about Black creators, or people who actually want to take their steps into the industry, want to hear from people who took those steps before. So honestly, I couldn't. I knew it was gonna be like I knew it was gonna be good. Like me and Tyler, we was going back and forth, keeping in touch. Like, yeah, it's gonna work out. We know it's gonna work out, but to actually see it turn out better than we can imagine.
Yeah.
So also establishment, St. James Invitations, black owned, black woman owned queer bar. So it was amazing having us there. So honestly, we are going to do it again. So next year, more details be coming soon, but we're definitely doing it again next year. So honestly, that was definitely an amazing event. Honestly, probably one of my favorites. Honestly, I love just making that platform for us, and it was just wonderful.
It's amazing how much you've been able to do, and hopefully, I'm a Jersey girl, but I gotta make it to some drive down
One
somewhere.
day, one day,
Yeah.
one day.
I definitely have to at this point because I work for critical care comments. I've been driving down there a little bit more often. So in the past, I used to be like, I'm not driving, but I'm okay with it now. So I'm definitely gonna try to make it to some of those.
Definitely, definitely. Hey, doors will always be open. Just let me know.
No, yeah, of course, of course. And I want to say, how was it growing up for you as a Blerd, and how does it feel now that you get to be so involved in the community and partner with different organizations like We Nerd NYC, and even there was an event that you went to that you're in collaboration with for Anime and Wine Night. So how does it feel that you're able to like interact with all these Blerds and be in business with them compared to like when you grew up as a Blerd?
Awesome. Let's see here. How was it? That's a loaded question, but it's a really good question. Yeah, you're on a roll. You have really good questions all night. You're on a roll, really. um, let's see here. Growing up, it was. I know some people had like bad experience as a blurred or even as a nerd who's growing up. Um, I think I'm in New York City, so it wasn't as bad.
Hmm.
So for me, it was like, of course, you have your bullies, and that's like anywhere you go. But I feel like it was more of acceptance like Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that. At least with my generation,
Hmm.
even though it was low key, it was hard to get access to like the other general anime.
Hmm.
Generally you watch Dragon Ball Z, we're like, oh, Goku went Super Saiyan, Namek. You talk about like the big things, it was like you have your group of people that was like, you could speak to. It
Hmm.
was just, of course, though, if you start Naruto running the hallways, I just think like you can't do that. You can't. I don't think you do that anywhere. But if you did, hey, that's on you. But but personally, it wasn't. I was actually grew up around black people. Throughout elementary, junior high, high school, and everything. So honestly, I understand people's perspective and their experience. How it wasn't always cool and things like that. For me, even though I like anime, I was also like into like sports, like wrestling, and other sports. So I was kind of like like the always and like not really having a core group, but
Hmm.
always different groups.
Yeah.
So but the nerd group, the anime group, always was like my favorite group because I was like always talking about anime with them. So I love that's also my favorite group because I was like especially in high school, I think the love of anime really like I always love anime, but I think the love of anime really came in high school
Hmm.
where in the big three, like I just discovered manga.
Yeah.
Like I was watching on like TV, I'm just like Shippuden. I'm like, oh, Naruto just came back. Um, what's going to happen. I can't wait till next week. So that's when I started reading the manga. Like, oh, it was like a brand new world. And we had and kind of in a circle at lunch talking about the next chapter of Bleach, next chapter of Naruto, next chapter of One Piece. And it was just like that was oh, you read this manga yet? You read this manga yet? Oh no, we like just recommending to each other. So I think that was just such like this it was a beautiful time. It really like grew my love for anime. Um, so also a random thing, I
Yeah.
actually taught in class in high school.
Oh, really?
What happened was it's like this thing, and I think it's New York City, but specifically my school, it was a
Hmm.
point where like the curriculum was officially done.
Yeah.
Like we or like the city exams, state exams, and so but like you can't just end school early. So it's
Oh.
they had to make like a curriculum to like at least for the remaining time, like for a few weeks till school is officially over. So
Hmm.
they have like a random course like script writing or just random courses teachers would do. So my teacher was like, "Hey, you like anime, right?" I'm like, "Yeah," and because the students he had also like anime, so he's like, "You know
Yeah.
what? So you want to teach a class? Of course, his name's officially be on there, but I'll be like the facilitator." So I was in high school, literally teaching, showing anime in class. Yeah, just like I'm showing Cowboy Bebop,
Yeah.
Death Wonderland, the cleanish version, of course.
Yeah.
What else? Morbido, the White Guardian, something like that. It used to be on Toonami.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so it was like things like that. So Death Note, people love Death Note. There was like there was like my teacher after was like, so how do you where you watch this at? I was like, websites. Put your straw hat on, and join the seven C's. But so yeah, so that's what the love of anime was just is definitely developed strongly in high school. So after that college, it was like, okay, I was most focusing on school, just trying to finish. So after school, I was just like, okay, after college, I was just like, I what happened was because I'm
Mm-hmm.
this writer. So
Yeah.
as I was rewatching One Piece in college.
Mm-hmm.
So was I was rewatching it specifically, it was the when Luffy fought Crocodile,
Mm.
final fight in Alabasta. It
Yeah.
was just so how it was like so like it was just so well done, like as a story, just like the story elements, the music,
Mm-hmm.
everything for me was just kind of like perfection. And
Yeah.
it's that moment I was like, you know what? I want to be able to
Yeah.
create stories that make people feel this way.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of got me into like writing. So I'm working on a graphic novel and a manga, but that's something else, something else. But so that's something I'm gonna start working on. So now is how it all just came together. It's just now that have love of anime, I'm passionate of anime. I want to see us win because of course, reaching out, seeking out different things online. It's just I kind of had a safe space growing up.
Yeah.
Being black and just enjoying anime, but not everyone has.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like or even now, which even kind of sucks with all the adults. People are adults and still being kind of shitty. I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
can't.
No, you're
Yeah,
good. We're past 30 minutes a day.
gotcha. So like people still being like, still being shitty. It's like, come on, we're like all adults here. Like why, And it's just like we just want to enjoy ourselves, and I just want to create a space where where we can, And honestly, it's the the blur spot. It was always black focused, but people of color, of course, can always join, could come through, and anyone else. But of course, this is the main focus. So as long as you come and respect the space, everyone's also welcome, but this is where we just able to just be ourselves and just nerd out and what we love. So that kind of so was why I was also honored for Anime and Wine. I think that would be a good experience for New York City.
Mm-hmm.
My friend again, Tyler, it was back in August. He was going through the internet, and
Yeah.
then he sent me something the Anime and Wine when I did in North Carolina. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
this is something I think would be dope. I'm like, you know what? And I'm looking at it, you know what? This is something that we didn't really have in New York City in a sense. I think I reached out to the founder creator Striker in
Mm-hmm.
regard to Anime and Wine,
Yeah.
and we was planning things since August, September, you
Mm-hmm.
know, venues and things like that. So we actually settled down in November
Mm-hmm.
on the venue, and so I did the event. We did watch anime, we did trivia, and honestly, like that was probably I probably for my events, probably my top three events. It just
Mm-hmm.
because it was just so like very engaging, like very it was like engaging, fulfilling. Like
Mm-hmm.
everyone is there to experience anime from different levels. Like you're just beginner trying to figure out, you're in veteran, just want to connect with more people, or just enjoy the vibes. You have so many different levels of people. All of them was accepted. Diverse people, most people looked like us, and it was good vibes, good food, good drinks, and people loved it. People loved it, and so it was just I felt fulfilled because in a sense this is what I wanted to do, and it's like I'm on the right track. I did another event just Friday, Anime when I came back again in New York City.
Yeah.
Um, we did again. It was amazing. A lot of people they love the trivia. I people love trivia, and the trivia I do is pretty like is like if you into like the old anime, like Ghost in the Shell and Trigun. Yes, your new ones like so Aaron could be engaged. Um, different genres as well. I need to incorporate more like was it shojo? You know, shojo
Yeah.
genre, things like that.
Yeah, shouldn't.
Yeah, I need to incorporate more of that. Okay, I'm being honest here. You know, I got some feedback, so that's will be coming more to trivia. Okay, but but yeah, so people loved it, and it was just like this is also got a reward for not reward. It was more like the venue gave me like a limited edition sake bottle from the
Oh,
inventory.
that's cute.
So yeah, so I was high. I'm like I'm drinking this for Christmas for real. But but it was just again like just to have where I started as a kid, you know, just looking watching anime, how see how dope it is, and now um growing in this space and having people just talk about me when even when I'm not present, like you
Yeah,
know, hey, you're the blood spot, like you're
yeah.
dope events, like and
Mhm.
people come to the events also just connect, make new friends, and just learn new anime or things like that. It just is something
Yeah,
that I can never, I don't think I'll ever just get enough of. You know, I just that's just it just warms my soul. It makes all the stress be worth it.
definitely. I definitely understand that. And I wanted to ask, what were some of the lessons you've learned since, like, I believe your first, one of your first, like, actual events was the Party and Connect, if I'm correct, I think.
Yes.
And then, you know, you've had so many since then. What are some of the lessons you've learned along the way when it comes to event planning, curating?
So it comes to curating events, time. Definitely, you know, when it comes to events, especially when you're growing, do you make sure you have enough time to like, you know, to promote and put things out there, but even reach out to the venue, see what things, especially Wonderville, also
Mm-hmm.
put it out there. Usually they do events for like free at their establishment, but like because they do it for free, it's kind of hard to book them. So
Mm,
just like be mindful of when you want to do an event and just like reaching out and see can you plan around that time. Um, and keep in mind you have to promotion do your own promotion as well. When it comes to reaching out for support, if you want like a guest or things like that, definitely reach out to them. See if they're able to do it. Um, Also, of course, well, if you're small, you know, sometimes for some people you ask, they might want something in return.
yeah,
It's you speak to them about, you know, sometimes actually Clutch Boy Wonder gave amazing voice, amazing
yeah.
advice. You got to
Mm-hmm.
be comfortable having uncomfortable conversations. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that's something, you know, just always speak about. Some people's like, yeah, you know, somebody enjoy the vibes and just like, hey, you know, I'm willing to help you out, like whatever. Some people like, hey, you know, it's a cost or things like that. So just be honestly, just be honest about it. It's like, hey, you know, this is my budget. I'm not sure I can make your budget, or
Yeah,
like, hey, work with you, or with some. And sometimes I always have backup plans. You never know what could go wrong. So
yeah.
just to make sure you have, you know, different guests lined up, making sure that everything's good with the venue.
Mm-hmm.
Also what you need if like you're trying to bring a DJ as well. They have the equipment for the DJ. The equipment have their equipment, like the
Yeah.
wires and stuff. So that all kind of comes with time and experience.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, you can't control every single factor. You could try to
Yeah.
prepare, you just really can't till it's game time. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, what you just be chill about it and work something out. Sometimes, as long as you're honest with guests as well, guests with people, you
Mm-hmm.
know, also understand as well. It's like your first, second time, and like something outside of your control. That's understandable. People are will be understanding as well, and just be a lesson for next time, you know. But those like the major two or three like advice that I've learned.
Yeah, I mean, those are very important, especially when it comes to like, you know, you gotta work with people and sometimes just be transparent. It's because it's one thing that like you try to lie and be like, oh, I can give you this, that. Like you shouldn't do that because then
Yeah,
they're gonna find out later in
because
life.
then like 'cause, you know because world is bond. Because then it's like someone wants to like all right now it's trying to like deliver. You can't, and you knew that you can't. Now it's like what's
I was
going
like,
on?
well, what are we doing?
Yeah, like what are we doing? Like as long as you're upfront with them and have them make the decision whether like if they want to participate or not, and it's like, oh hey, I was upfront, this is what the deal was and things like that. So honestly, like, just and it's okay. Like just I know sometimes we don't want to have those conversations or things like that, or even you're more of an introvert, it gets hard to have those conversations because you may not know how to.
Yeah,
But honestly, again, I don't know everything, but a lot of people don't. I mean, no one knows everything.
yeah,
So you just have to just, do your best, be honest, be upfront, and just go for it. Honestly, it's also another good advice. I forgot his name, but he was a
Mhm.
guy who plays the actor. Everybody hates Chris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he did a thing where it was like, it's sometimes you want overnight success, but sometimes you gotta understand the journey. It's okay to fail now versus to fail later.
Yeah.
Because in the sense that once you fail, it's a learning experience. But
Hmm.
say you do your first event or maybe your first content, whatever, and it goes viral overnight. And now you're
Mm,
from zero to like say 100K followers, a million followers, whatever, or your event, whatever it is, 1,000 people show up. Now all of a sudden, now you just set the bar. That's the bar now. So it's like if you were to mess up
yeah,
at that point, now it's kind of like, oh, like
yeah,
that it's kind of hard to deal with, and those lessons hard to learn versus when you're just starting out and just trying new things. And it's okay to get that experience now. That kind of really put things in perspective. And I think that's all we have to do in life is kind of put things in perspective. Like, hey, like not just gonna work out, but it's a learning experience. Let's take it that way and continue to move forward and go from there.
yeah. That's definitely true. I feel like, yeah, I feel like for anybody's journey, especially if they didn't go viral overnight, it's just like we get the chance to just, figure it out and then like pivot and then like get back to
Yeah.
it helps. I personally feel like it helps a lot. I know I've known some people that said they've gone viral, and the pressure of knowing that that doesn't not always going to be viral, and they feel some type of way after the fact. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I
So
think yeah,
yeah, exactly. It's versus like if you kind of just started and you kind of just like starting out and like you may have 20 videos and the 21 video, the 21st video goes viral. You already know, like, okay, my first video went viral, my first 20 didn't. So you already know that, like, hey, like I know it's not gonna be viral, versus you do one video, it goes viral. Now you do a second video, it doesn't. Now you're like,
yeah, you're like
yeah, So I mean, if of course, like, and always nice to say it's like success and all power to them. But
yeah,
from my experience, I just see it as like, like I try to see perspective in the sense that like that was an example, of course, but if
mhm,
anything is like don't look at failure as failure, let's look at failure as a lesson to be better.
yeah.
Perspective.
No, yeah, that's real facts. Like, because I used to do poetry, so it was like the snap, the snap.
Yeah.
And I actually wanted to talk about the indie film showcase. The first one you had the summer showcase, and you had another one recently in November. What inspired you to start the film showcase, and what has been the impact that you've seen? I also like that, like, um, how like people do promote the people that they have in their showcase, but they don't really do it like well. I feel like sometimes, but like I like the fact that like when you do yours, you show like every person that's like in it and like what it's about. I feel like it gives people more anticipation of like this is interesting. I want to come and like see it. So what inspired you to do the showcase?
So it was after DreamCon. Honestly, it was a mixture of many things. I guess I haven't really spoke much about it, but actually this March 2025, my dad passed away.
Mm,
So one of the things to talk to him about was like the birth spot, what I'm doing, and some of the events I had planned, and he also was into music and film.
mm,
So in a sense, it's kind of a way for me to get close to him in a sense.
mm,
So was after DreamCon. I talked about my panel, one of the few discussions we had, last few discussions we had, and it was a huge success.
Mm,
So it's just like, I kind of want to do more. So, just thinking back, with him, knowing that he was also into film, also had a good friend as well, Darius. He also had a few director friends and film as well. So, you know what, I do want to, again, BlerdSpot is all about creating a platform, and people love films. I love films as well. So I wanted, like, you know what, this is a way to also highlight us in this industry.
mm,
So, and then reached out to Darius. I already looked into establish a venue, which is kind of funny
mm,
because I did. My friend told me about that venue
mm,
before, but
mm,
I didn't have any purpose for it yet. So
mm.
just like I don't know what to do there, but I keep it in my back pocket. And then
Yeah.
like probably almost 10 months later, after DreamCon, I'm like, you know what? I want to do indie film showcase. I need a spot. Oh, I remember my friend told me spot like 10 months ago, almost a year ago. Okay, now I'm reading the details. So now I start like looking into that. So now I had the venue booked. Darius, a good friend of mine, he submitted his films. He's been doing films, and it's also he has some of his friends submit their films as well. And a few people reached out to me once I post a flyer up for my different circles. Like, hey, I know someone wants to submit a film, so it was able to really become like a really community interactive experience. So I was able to um, showcase the films, but for me also promote. It was also just a see the things that they do. Because when I submit the films, I watch every single film that was submitted to me. Like when people submit a film to a showcase, I watch everything. So I'm like, these movies are really good. Like it's like they are amazing. They're phenomenal. And it's kind of like we, now always have a big budget, but also in a space, we're in a film space where people of color, black people, we don't really have the level of access,
Mhm.
to like the capital or that promotion, things like that. So to
Yeah.
know where we can also good, amazing films. This again a showcase. Also another part of it is also to highlight these individuals, highlight these films. So we did from horror, black horror, from sci-fi, from um, documentary someone did. It was just a whole like across different genres, and it was just like very exciting. And people was um, really like to showcase, and not only was that, but also like a learning experience because I envision that yes, people get showcase their films, but for the audience, if you maybe just like films or maybe you're some in the film industry somehow, a producer, actor, actress, director, you want to know, hey, someone lighting was pretty good. How you did the lighting in your film, or hey, your venue you use is pretty cool. How do you secure a venue for your project? Like that's also what the information want to be exchanged between different directors, different films, people like that, different resources. So I think after the first two, it was an amazing success.
Mhm.
I'm speaking to the venue now. We're gonna do some things for next year,
Mhm.
so that's cooking things up. But yeah, so that was I'm just truly honored and blessed, honestly, to have that experience and have people, trusting me to showcase their films to the public.
More questions.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely amazing, what you've been doing with that. Given, especially when it comes to like indie film, because like it's very saturated, just the film space in general, and like giving them that push. I really feel like they really do appreciate it, and like I'm just happy that you're doing it, especially because like in especially in New York, because like you know how the tri-state can be sometimes. So to have that
Yeah,
in Brooklyn as well is definitely an amazing thing.
it is. The venue is very happy with this experience. They want to have me back to continue to showcase there, so I'm honored for that. We actually have somebody came from New Jersey to just come up to show their film, and actually someone else came from Baltimore So so yeah, so it's I'm just here just to create a platform, but again, there's a lot of dope, amazing films out there, and we have one person came from New Jersey, and one person came from Maryland. Actually, to showcase her comedy at the film showcase.
Mm,
So it was like happy with travel to come submit their films and just to show it.
yeah.
It was just like that's a dope feeling.
Yeah, it definitely is an amazing feeling. And I also want to talk about the Demon Slayer showcase that you got, like
Yeah.
the screening that you got to do with Wiener NYC. You know, our boy Clutch was there as well. There's an amazing group of panelists as well, like Just Afro and a bunch of other creators that I know as well. So, how was that event for you?
That event was amazing. It was all right. So I was planning on like creating. Yeah. So once Demon Slayer was coming out, I was just like, you know what? I do want to do this screening. I do want to show a screening to for Demon Slayer. So we nerd, I was in touch with them, and it was like, I want to do, a Demon Slayer screening. It's like, all right, you know what? We also want to plan, work on that together, collaborate. Like, all right, cool, dope. So we ended up looking at a venue. It was black owned, and the price was actually pretty good. So we looked at Regal and other things like that, but they was a little bit, a little outside our price range,
Yeah,
but Stewart Theater was perfect and it was black owned. So for me, that was even better. Um, so we had that secure. Comes to the hosts, I was like, I already have a few people in mind. Of course, like Clutch Boy Wonder came to mind. He always brings that energy, that fire. I reached out to a few other people as well for a panel. We Narrows reached out other people for a panel as well. Um, and so then it was more so we speak to the venue was more so for them. It was more so for them to appreciate y'all. It was more so for them to they had to even though they had to showcase the film, they had to reach out to different studios, like for legal reasons, stuff like that. Make sure they get the film to show it in a theater in an official capacity.
hmm,
So once they had that secure lockdown, we did heavy promotion. We got the panelists. It was like again, it's a high demanding film, so people was going to see it regardless. It's funny because the venue was like the not the head person in charge, but one other who
hmm.
was part of the events. He was kind of surprised, like it was packed out, like people come and see this. I'm like, bro, where you been? He was an older man, of course,
Yeah,
so
I
he was
get that.
out of touch. I was like, yeah, man, it's just like Demon Slayer when the first one came out was one of like the highest grossing anime films. So it was just kind of like this is like high anticipated. Plus it's like a theater exclusive. Like this is a gold mine. So he was like, I didn't expect, I didn't know. I'm like, yeah, man, this is so like it was packed out. So we had actually a little over capacity. They was able to work with us
Yeah,
with that. But it was I was honored. People, it was just us coming together, having fun. People dressing up, being cosplays and things like that. It was a beautiful experience overall. The panelists was awesome. So it was just like, yeah, I couldn't expect anything. I didn't. I mean, I know it'll be good. Like, I know it must be good, but sometimes
yeah,
I surprised how good it goes, how dope people feel, going. So it's just like, man, this was something that's like, next year I'll definitely be keeping stuff like that in mind as well. But honestly, it was just like again, I'm kind of cliche, but my heart was fulfilled. It was just like black people smiling and just being themselves and nerding
yeah,
out. Like
yeah.
how can you not be happy about that? Like,
No, that's very true. It's just like it warms your heart because it's like, we live in a society where it's just like we shouldn't have joy. No, screw that. Like, of course
yeah,
we
exactly. Like
have
especially these days, man, you gotta enjoy life, find your happiness somehow. And for us, we enjoy anime and we just want to be in a space where we could just be ourselves and just want to dress like Naruto, dress like Tanjiro. We just want to do that. Then why not? Just doing without hearing those backhanded compliments. Oh, they're not black. I'm not trying to hear that
Yeah.
shit. Like,
We're not,
they're
we're
not
not
white
trying to
either,
hear that.
but we don't see us saying anything about that.
Yeah, we're not here to hear that shit. Like, no, like no, no.
You know, so and honestly, like it's not even us really starting. We just being ourselves. It's others that's like feeling it and encroach upon our happiness and what we love to do. It's just like you could literally just like the oldest in time. You have nothing nice to say, don't say it. You just go along your day and just be with your friends or whatever, and just have your own fun times. Leave us and have out be by ourselves and have our fun times. Just call it a day. That's all.
That is true. And I want, because I know you also do like in-person interviews at conventions, and you also have a segment called Bop or Nah that you do at the
Yes.
different conventions, where you ask them to guess like the anime bop, and then after they do that, if they guess it right and stuff like that, you ask them to give a suggestion for the next person. I think which is cool because I have heard people guess the anime song. I never heard them do it as like a chain for the next person. But what
Yeah.
inspired you to do that at conventions, and did that help kind of like, because I know doing it in person is much different than even doing it like on stream here or how you have it in your podcast studio. So
Yeah.
did that kind of help you like break the ice when it came to like doing it in person?
It essentially it how to put it when it comes to breaking the ice, well, what comes to the idea itself, I thought it was like pretty dope. 'Cause, like it's pretty engaging. I think like back in the day, it wasn't something like this, but like it was kind of like similar. Like, hey, guess this anime song. What is it? Like, oh, hey, cool, and that was it. I'm like, there need to be more, like a chain letter, but like a chain song.
Mm,
So, and of course, making more us, bop or not. Like, we know if it's a bop
yeah.
or not. So it was just more so that idea just came to me. I'm just like, I reached out to a few friends first.
Hmm.
Well, let's see here. Actually, no, no, no. The
Hmm.
first time I had an idea, but like, I didn't reach out to anyone because I feel like it's kind of weird. I
Mm,
guess it's me just being in my head sometimes, but I feel like
yeah.
anytime I do it, no one's gonna like it, so I ask.
Mm,
But so when I actually got there for the first time, 2024, I was literally just by the stairs, just trying to build up courage to ask random people that want to play this game. So I actually did end up reaching out to like some people who passed by, like, oh hey, you wanna like play this game? Like, yeah, sure. So I
yeah.
explained them nah. They loved it. I'm still like following them. They come to my events from time to time. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So we are playing the game. They end up loving it. Like, oh my gosh, this is really fun. It's just like I'm like, okay, so there's something there. People really do like the idea. So I kind of played a bit more after it on 2024. I got some of my friends involved. I was there. I saw, hey, you want to play a game? Like, oh yeah, I'm totally down. So people better be more like a lot of supportive. I guess that was me just like being in my own head, but like you know, just ask for help. Whoever walks up, just ask. Like, who's going to help you, So sometimes it's okay being in your head, but just ask. Then 2025, it was I was still shy. Like I'm not shy, but it just kind of shy to ask people like want to play the game.
Yeah. So,
So it was, but I was safe because I do Clutch Boy Wonder. We was familiar with each other because we did an event at OS earlier a few weeks prior for Anime NYC. So everybody's table was like, hey man, I want to play a game. Everyone want to play. He was like, oh yeah, bro, I'm down. So him and his people, Sparta,
yeah.
Dix, and we actually had a dope person came through, Mecha Waves actually.
Mm,
He came, he played the game too. I actually before the year is over, I'm gonna do like a whole recap of the year.
hmm.
Um, but like he played too a little bit, so it was people loved it. They loved it, very engaging.
Yeah.
So it was just more so like for me believing like, hey, just act, be more interactive more. But also like I do have good concepts. It was a good game. It's but I do want to continue on as well.
Hmm.
So it's definitely see some more videos and more of it why conventions and things like that.
That's awesome. And also, I got to meet you in person when we both got invited to the Tokyo Ghoul concert, which
Yeah.
I still can't
Your
believe
voice been
it.
on fire all night. I'm telling you, you're like a professional. I'm taking notes. You're a professional for real.
Thank coming from you, that's professional. Like that makes me feel good inside. Thank you, thank you so much. But
You're really. Trust me. I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes. You're more of a natural. I use flashcards and stuff. Like I'm still learning myself, but like you're just so smooth and like natural. I'm just like, yeah.
I really do appreciate that because I still get like a little nervous because like I'll scroll through for however much is necessary and then I'll be like, I'm gonna forget something. But it's helpful with Streamlabs in case I need a reminder. But like, I was gonna say, how was that experience? Because for people that don't know, because I was there, you got to like interview a few of the like two of the people that was part of the like that orchestrated the
Yeah.
concert. So I wanted you to like give the stage of like how you felt getting the opportunity just to be a guest, but then getting to interview. Like you got to interview after the end of the show. Like that's crazy.
It was definitely crazy. I still have it. Like I still have to post it. But I'll do like an NBA recap. I'm gonna have all the videos. I haven't posted yet, but
Mm,
um, it was honestly I was honored, but also it's kind of weird because like I know sometimes I feel nervous to ask, but sometimes I'm very bold when I ask. So it's like I guess there was a time I feel kind of bold because I was in touch with
yeah,
Alex. He's in charge of like the event coordinator for everything. So he reached out to me to help them but promote the event.
yeah.
And I was just asking like, hey, by any chance, is this anyone I could interview for the concert and things like that? He's like, yeah, these are two people we could interview. He was like it was the event coordinator for the orchestra itself, but then also head orchestra for the Tokyo Ghoul. After the show, one of them wasn't able to do the interview. I don't think she was present at all, actually.
Mm,
Um, but the head orchestra was. So we did like a quick 7 minute interview, talk about the concert, her experience and how she felt and things like that. It was honestly amazing. But we actually did after that end up interviewing Alex. It's a quick interview.
mm, okay.
Uh, they are planning something pretty dope in March. She
Okay.
did give me that. They are planning some dope in March.
Okay.
So watch the video. I'm gonna post before the year is over.
Okay.
But expect to come in March. But it's gonna be some pretty dope stuff. So
Yeah.
I think at that time, I was just bold and I just asked like I was prepared to have here, oh, sorry, we want me to do this, that, and the third. I was expecting to hear like a no, but
Mm,
I voted anyway, and I got a
yeah.
yes. So sometimes, like I mentioned before, like I know sometimes trying to find a balance, but again, just ask because you just never know. So, and that definitely worked in my favor. So I was obviously honored. And I kind of just like talk about that sometimes time as like I interview the head orchestra lady for the thing. So it's so yeah. So it was definitely honored, dope, amazing experience.
No, yeah. I mean, but you gotta brag. Come on, now. Like,
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I should. I just have to now just have those videos. We got like 5 days after the holiday before New Year's. Like, that's a lot of time just to recap, yearly recap, just go for it. So you have that 5, 6 days. That's gonna be straight recaps.
no, yeah, I get that. No, I understand coming from me where it's like I do the same thing. I'm like, oh yeah, but like something like that when it's like something curated, it's been like promoted everywhere, and like you got that opportunity. Like I can't blame you for being like excited. Like I got the like yo, just like for real.
It was dope. It was honor, and honestly, like again, just as ask. I'm hoping in March, be another big event. Hopefully we have some adult people there. I mean, once you see the video, you know what they aiming for March. But
Okay.
we could have like any legendary. I'm gonna drop it. Any legendary composers, music
Mm,
composers there.
mm.
That would be amazing. I mean, I don't think that they're able to do so. That'd be dope. Maybe get into the interview. I don't know, but I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I
ask.
don't know. Yeah, all you can do is just act. But I'm excited for them. They did a like at first when they invited me, I was like, "Is this real?" But like it was real, and then I
Yeah,
went. I was like, it was really they did a nice job. They did a good nice job with it, and like
It really did.
I loved the concept. Like it was a really good experience.
It was an amazing experience. I was geeked out. I'm like, it's funny because I won't say I never I actually read the first chapter and the first chapter dropped for Tokyo Ghoul like online. It was like
Okay.
those websites was like hot new manga coming out and it was like Tokyo Ghoul hot. I'm like, okay, let's check it out. So I read it first chapter. I was like, oh shit, it's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
was like, you know what? I already had a full list. I'm gonna let it sit. I'm gonna let it marinate. I'm gonna read it again. But
Okay.
then I let it marinate for too long, and the anime came out. That was just like, okay, anime came out. I'm gonna wait till it finishes. It didn't finish. I'm just like, I kind of don't wanna start it now because I just got done. But after being at the orchestra, I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I have to like read it now. I know like the major plot points, of course, but
Yeah.
I have to actually read it.
No.
And then
Yeah.
I know the manga
Yeah.
and the anime two different things.
Oh no, yeah, for sure. Because what I will say is okay. So season one, for the most part, canon. Now the last episode's not canon.
Mm,
So if you read it, you'll understand. 'Cause I know that like the
gotcha.
anime onlys, like, when we got to season three, they were really upset. But like, hear me out. The first part of the episode one is not canon.
Okay.
Season two is kind of like they created it. I mean, it's fun for the most part, but they created it. It's not canon to the
Yeah.
story. And then season three is actually canon. It's actually supposed to be
Mm.
right after the episode before the last episode of season one. That's what I'll say without spoiling anything. But if you don't know that, it really did upset people because they didn't understand what was going
I
on.
can see. I can see that. I can see that. Okay, so I'm gonna read the manga first, and then I'm gonna go and watch the anime. I got you.
Yeah, because I know people don't like to watch like out of season order, but like if you're talking about like canonically, then it's literally season one up to that point, and then season three. You can watch two
Mhm.
just because, but it has nothing to do with with
Oh wow.
the overall stuff.
I think I'll just read it first, and then I'm
Yeah.
after that watch the anime.
Yeah, I think it will help you like to not get as upset because like I was watching it like maybe like a few years after it came out, and then when like around the time when the new season came out, so like I in real time got to see like the anger, like it was wild, like people were really
Yeah.
upset. And one question I asked on the show is about supporting the blurred community. So, what better person to ask about this? I asked, what do we do well so far to support each other? What can we do better? Everybody has a different answer to the question based on their own experience.
Okay. I would say for because I'm tapped in more into I guess for longer in like black creator like comic creators and manga creator space first
Yeah.
before I got into cosplayers.
Hmm.
So honestly, I think there's a lot of dope. Like people like to say, oh, some black comics are not up to par or because it's
Mm.
indie. There's a lot of black comics that's like out there that's like really well done professionally and really storyline is also really good as well from webtoons from even like regular comic paperback things like that that's out there. That's why I try to want to highlight these individuals, and honestly there's so many out there like I can't do it alone, but I'm going to. But it's like so honestly supporting them wherever you can. If of course, purchasing is always the best, but if you can't, everyone has a budget. Like sharing
Hmm.
on their work always definitely help.
Hmm.
I would say for um, let's see here, content creators, like and share their stuff as well. Just be positive. Cosplayers, compliment them on their cosplays. Because they put a lot of work into their cosplays, and then of course with different levels. But also just give them acknowledge their cosplays and give them a compliment, appreciate for what they have done, the amount of work time they put in, and and just stay positive. Like I feel like some people just want to be like negative,
Mm.
and just not need it.
Yeah.
And not even like some people feel like always being positive like and, like just faking a funk. It's like no, you can always say what you like, and there's anything you don't like. There's always constructive criticism of doing things. But if you don't know how to do that, then that's a skill this person needs to learn. But I feel like you always do with positivity first.
Yeah.
So leave at first, be positive first.
Yeah.
So my experience, I think those are the things we could do better and support.
Hmm.
Um, I think we have lately gotten better with doing these things in general.
Yeah.
Um, Again, I just feel like we just need to just keep at it and just also, highlight, you know, the platforms that highlight individuals like my platform, your platform, where it's like, sometimes you don't know where to start. So going to our platforms where we, focus on these things, that could be a good place for you to start and you just go down a rabbit hole from there.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I'll kind of expand on that a little bit. I think we have to like sometimes in this space, like you said, like with the negativity, we're not saying be how they call it, like toxic positivity or something like that.
Mm.
We all go through things, but like how I say, not everything's meant to be on the internet, even though
Yeah,
things are on the
that's
internet.
true. That's true.
And,
Like,
and I feel like sometimes there's like a fine line that gets crossed on like what you should share and what you shouldn't share.
yeah,
And I feel like, yeah, certain things like a universal thing maybe for awareness, but sometimes when it's like things that could be solved away from a post or away from a platform, people don't do that, and then it causes unnecessary. So that's what we're saying. Like
yeah,
certain things is like a lot of us are grown adults that are
yeah,
capable of having that communication before it gets to that point.
hundred
So
percent.
like certain things don't bring there to keep that positive. We're not saying everything is great, but sometimes it's like when I feel like you have a responsibility when you have a platform to represent yourself in a good way.
Yeah,
So yeah, you go for things and stuff like that, but if you're genuinely trying to be like that force or like have something that's great for the community, you show that and then you take care of whatever needs to be taken care of in a, I would say in a professional, that's what I'm trying to, in a professional manner. I feel like.
yeah.
But
I feel, like you mentioned, like we're all like adults, so I feel like even with like trying to do stuff always online, sometimes things get lost in translation because
yeah,
thing that needs to guess your tone, how you're saying things, how you type it may not be how attentions are different from impact. So you might be trying to say type something out, and you didn't mean it that way. It could impact someone differently than what you intended.
yeah,
So usually, doing stuff in person would be better, but like you mentioned, now everything has to be online. So so just I feel like all adults, let's just be
yeah,
we can when we can, and just go from there. Like again, sometimes you gotta be. I feel like honestly, I'm not gonna hold you. I feel like this is like probably the probably the best quote I could really remember and like from like my adult like in the past few years. I would say you gotta be uncomfortable having. You gotta be comfortable having uncomfortable conversations.
yeah.
So it's like sometimes I would just, and I could clear a lot of things up and avoid unnecessary
Yeah,
down
like
the line.
just talk to each other. Like, just literally just
Yeah,
talk to each other.
just being, just exactly talking, having control of your emotions, and just going from there. So we're all not perfect, of course. We all have our moments, but let's just do it. Just take a moment to breathe, calm down, and just say what we have to say, and just continue from there.
Yeah,
But I feel like overall though, like I feel like I know things in a space is a bit out of whack. A lot of things going on, but I do feel like we are coming together.
yeah,
Um, you know, we coming together in a
yeah.
good way. Just
Mm-hmm.
give us some time,
Yeah.
and so I have a lot of things cooking up as well. So I think that can help with that in the future. But that's too much about that.
No, I definitely understand that, and I agree with that last part. Like, we're like, I have seen like a lot of like, let's get back to the basics. Let's get back to the like, why we started. Like kind of like a reminder to ourselves, like we're in control of like what we put out and like how we want to like make an impact. Like I have seen that as well, so I do agree with that.
Yeah, of course. Um, things always be improved on, but I feel like let's not ignore the good things that we all like have experienced in these spaces. So let's find a way to move forward with the good things that we have while working on eliminating the bad things that has happened.
Yeah.
We could definitely do both. We could definitely keep focusing on good things, making it better, and just eliminate all the bad things that has happened prior. we don't have to repeat our mistakes. We're aware of them. Let's not repeat it. Let's keep it moving and keep growing.
Yeah, that's true. And one of the last questions I'll ask is, what are some of the goals? You've done so much, but I know there's only more to come. So, what are some of the goals that you can share that you have for you going forward? It could be long term, short term, whatever you want to share.
Whew. I have a lot of goals for next year. I think a lot within this year alone. I think next year I have a lot of goals I want to accomplish. It's like a whole list, but like I have three very big goals for next year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to speak on one. Because one, I could openly share. Other two is really underneath cooking up. But the first one, I am working on a graphic novel and a manga. So graphic novel is like takes place in the futuristic Wild West, think kind of like Trigun, where the main character Naomi, in the quest of vengeance against Enigma, who's a man responsible for the death of her parents and framing her as the most wanted criminal in the world. So it kind of deals with the journey of oneself, of her trying to get revenge, um, but at the same time trying to not, how to put it, try not to be overwhelmed with negative emotions. Um, it's just because her upbringing is very different to what she recently experienced.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, staying positive, seeing the good in people versus
Mm-hmm.
always seeing the bad in people, and kind of going through her journey of, of these two outlooks, but also actively pursuing vengeance, Um, will she, I don't want to say too much about the story, but I know how it
You're
ends
good.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, but it's I'm very excited about. It's like Trigun, so like that's a big inspiration for me back in the day.
Yeah.
A manga, I kind of working on. It's called Shadow World. So I think it's gonna be like probably basically like a one shot,
Mm-hmm.
maybe develop later on,
Mm-hmm.
but essentially about a teenager who essentially a pillar of light. So essentially, it's up to him to save his younger brother who was kidnapped, taken away by the darkness when he was much younger.
Mm-hmm.
So as he got older and discovered his abilities, it's up to him to essentially, defeat the shadows and save his younger brother. So essentially, that I would say that's kind of like it's I guess that actually is perfect. I think
Yeah.
that kind of like a darker My Hero Academia, if I would have put it in a sense, deal more heavier themes. But yeah, those two I'm working on. I have other stories in mind, but I feel like once I finish these two, I could work on the others.
Mm-hmm.
One, it's well before Welcome to Derry came out, I did want to work on like a horror multiverse, so to say. But
Yeah.
like each story is some of it's horror, some of it's sci-fi, but it's all connected loosely with each other.
Mm.
But like Welcome to Derry did it, man. I
You're
have my
like,
own thing going on.
you're like,
I thought we were unique. I was like, shit, Stephen King beat me. Fuck. But it goes across different genres. So some may be horror, some may be, but it's like different things happen in the multiverse, which affects the grand scheme of things.
mm-hmm.
And what in which way, you just the beauty of it is like yes, it's like some loose connections, but ideally, I just want it to be each piece to kind of also be a standalone. So you don't
Mm-hmm.
need to all read every single one to really like understand the story because each story is also standalone. But
Mm-hmm.
if you want to follow the grand scheme of things, it's also like just some connections here and there. So it
Yeah.
was like the first big goal. I have two others, which I don't know. I kind of
You know,
okay,
just share what you want. Like you have to,
okay.
like,
I do have some things I have to finalize first because it's like permits and stuff like that. But
yeah,
I
yeah.
do want to do an outdoor like festival.
Mm-hmm.
So what that festival will entail, well, pretty much what I'm already doing, just a more grander scheme of things.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm gonna say about that. But yeah,
Yeah, no
so a
problem. Yeah.
production story and a an outdoor festival. I already know a spot for it. So that's gonna be a dope, and one more after that, but that's I'm definitely keeping it under
That's
wraps.
fun.
But
No,
yeah,
you're fine.
yeah.
I'm excited for that, especially the one that you're like just trigon, because like you didn't see me, because I was like,
it's I do have some. I actually have some illustrations.
yeah,
I mean, I do want to get them, officially trademark and stuff before I really put them out
yeah,
there.
of course.
But after this, I can share with you directly. Actually, I'm comfortable enough
Okay,
to
okay, okay.
work directly with
All
you.
right.
But I am working on a graphic now. I was finished, but the graphic now, of course, take a bit longer. But at least before the year is over, at least I believe I can finish the one shot. So that's something I'm like looking forward to. So that's definitely one of the a goal I have to do before 2026 is over.
Okay, definitely looking forward to it. And with that, thank you so much for coming on. Hopefully, you had a great time. And
Oh, this was amazing. I know it wasn't thing, but it was smooth. Your questions was that in depth. Like I was surprised. Like, oh snap! Like you really like looked into me. That's crazy. So uh, I'm like honored, and like this is dope. Thank you. This is my first experience, and um, it was honestly really amazing. So I definitely appreciate you. Thank you so much for real.
thank you. It's like a little source of pride when people are like, I spent the time to like research. Like it makes me happy. Like you know what I'm saying. But yeah. Oh, hold on.
Oh,
He disappeared.
oh, I'm so, I'm so,
It's okay.
no, you're
No.
fine.
I think I know what happened. When we first started, like I think
Yeah.
you accidentally leave the chat, but then you
Oh, okay. So
disappear.
gotcha. You're fine. You're fine. I was just gonna say that, like, you honestly, you're definitely amazing. Just keep doing what you're doing because this is definitely needed for what we do. And honestly, your platform's amazing. The question it asks you amazing. The attention you give, the details. So definitely just keep it up. You're dope as fuck for real.
Thank you, I appreciate that, and I just wanted to give you. Thank you so much. And I just want to give you a chance to just plug in like where you want everybody to follow you, keep up with everything, and all that you got going on.
So as of right now, the best way to follow me would be the blurred spot, the blurred spot spot. Once you type it in, you see like logo like graffiti letters. That's me. So that's what you can follow. Everything that I'm doing. I have another dope ass event with the legendary Clutch Boy Wonder and Sachi. We'll listen to
Mm-hmm.
Not Judge Video Game Edition. We'll
Mm-hmm.
have talk about video games, your opinions, just want to have fun, meet new friends, this will be the place to be. You will not miss it. It'll be a legendary performance. It'll be a dope performance at the top of the year. You talk about it all year long. So definitely check it out. And don't forget to follow me as well. So like, subscribe, support, everything. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you so much, and thank you guys for joining in for Anime Inc. Our live talks tonight. We have another one tomorrow. I shared that on the Instagram, but so for those that don't know what I do, because I have to introduce myself, my name my name is Lizzie. I have my brand Animeinkart. We're trying to get back into the drawing portion of things. That's how it started. That's my art brand. I'm not in the wall right now. We have to upgrade to the mic so that things can get better, but in my room I have like all of my merch and everything like that, my stickers, and I vend in the tri-state when I get the chance to. We're going to be trying to do that more next year as well. If you want art commissions from me, we have things in forms in the link tree. The whole link tree is there with like the Shopify store, the Redbubble store, which is our backup. We have the commission form if you want to, as well as for this show as well. I also cosplay. I've been in the calendar for Talking Noir. I'm an affiliate with them. If you use code Animeinkart, you get free shipping off your orders. We've been able to work with Blurs Unite, thanks to Anime Inc. Lab Talks, but then also, applying with them for their opportunity grant that we got this year. So you've seen certain things with them, with me, probably from that. You've probably seen from the art at times. You've probably seen from the cosplay at times. Whatever you've seen me on, I do appreciate because I know I've had my hand in multiple things. For those that have supported the show, this is an extension of when I would just put people on my pages and then just share the stories, and it was called Anime Inc. Our Black Brand Spotlight. But over time, I needed to get out of my comfort zone of going live and talking, because a lot of my videos pre the show were just my content and the music, and that was it. But it's been a great experience since then. Thank you guys for supporting everything that I do. We're going to be trying to show everything we do in the new year. And if you're interested, just follow Animeinkart 1. We are on TikTok, but you know, me and TikTok got a complicated relationship, but you can follow there as well. We're
It'd be
on
like,
we're on Facebook as well. And if you want to go to Animeinkart Live 1 as well, and then join the broadcast on the regular main page, because that's where they get everything. They get all the posts and everything like that, and what's coming up next. So I do really appreciate you guys. Tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. EST. We're going to be going live with Drew Jackson. For those that heard his song Jabber, that's one of the songs that is popping right now. But yeah, a lot of amazing songs. You can come check it out. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's free to do for the most part. So
subscribe. Yeah. Dope. She's dope. Amazing content. Definitely subscribe.
Thank you. And with that, we're out. All right. Bye, guys.